Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So from Canto 3, the status quo, Chapter 2, Remembrance of Lord Kṛṣṇa. And this morning we're doing text number 16. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Jashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Pariksit Nasto Terasati Shishimari's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Pariksit Nasto Terasati Shishimari's Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Srila Advaita Gadadhar Srivāsa Hari Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathurā Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamanta Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Ho. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Lord Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Buddhaya Srimati Bhakti Tere Swami Nityanamani Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Siddharthani Sri Gaur Karoli Shakti Bhakti Tere Nityanamani. Okay, sorry. Narayana Namaskritya Narun Chevam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtapaiswa Badresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, Text number 16. Mam khedayaty etad ajasya janma viḍambanaṁ vasudeva-gehe vraje vāso ri-bhayād svayaṁ purād vyavātsīd yad-ananta-vīryaḥ. Mam khedayaty etad ajasya janma viḍambanaṁ vasudeva-gehe vraje vāso ri-bhayād svayaṁ purād vyavātsīd yad-ananta-vīryaḥ. Mam khedayaty etad ajasya janma viḍambanaṁ vasudeva-gehe vraje vāso ri-bhayād svayaṁ purād vyavātsīd yad-ananta-vīryaḥ. Hare Krishna.
Mam khedayaty etad ajasya janma viḍambanaṁ yad vasudeva-gehe vraje vāso ri-bhayād svayaṁ purād vyavātsīd yad-ananta-vīryaḥ. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Mam khedayaty etad ajasya janma viḍambanaṁ yad vasudeva-gehe vraje vāso ri-bhayād svayaṁ purād vyavātsīd yad-ananta-vīryaḥ. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? All right, so we do synonyms, word for word. Mam, to me, khedayaty, gives me distress. Etad, this. Ajasya, of the unborn. Janma, birth. Viḍambanaṁ, bewildering. Yad, that. Vasudeva-gehe, in the home of Vasudeva. Vraje, in Vrindavan. Cha, also. Dasa, in habitation. Ari, enemy. Bhayād, because of fear. Eva, as if. Svayaṁ, himself. Purād, from Mathurā. Vyavātsīd, fled. Yad, one who is. Ananta-vīryaḥ, unlimitedly powerful. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When I think of Lord Kṛṣṇa, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraja and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathurā in fear, all these bewildering incidents give me distress. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Because Lord Sri Krishna is the original person from whom everything and everyone has emanated, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 10, Text 8, Janma Dhyasya Yata Vedanta Sutra 1.1.2, nothing can be equal to or greater than him. The Lord is supremely perfect, and whenever he enacts his transcendental pastimes as a son, a rival, or an object of enmity, he plays the part so perfectly that even pure devotees like Uddhava are bewildered. For example, Uddhava knew perfectly well that Lord Sri Krishna is eternally existent and can neither die nor disappear for good, yet he lamented for Lord Krishna. All these events are perfect arrangements to give perfection to his supreme glories. It is for enjoyment's sake. When a father plays with his little son, and the father lies down on the floor as if defeated by the son, it is just to give the little son pleasure and nothing more. Because the Lord is all-powerful, it is possible for him to adjust opposites, such as birth and no birth, power and defeat, fear and fearlessness. A pure devotee knows very well how it is possible for the Lord to adjust opposite things. But he laments for the non-devotees who, not knowing the supreme glories of the Lord, think of him as imaginary, simply because there are so many apparently contradictory statements in the scriptures. Factually, there is nothing contradictory. Everything is possible when we understand the Lord as the Lord and not as one of us with all our imperfection. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyana Gyanashalakaya Chakshu Umbalitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayaṁ Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Irveshesha Sunyavadi Paschathyadi Shatani Momahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gurachache Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivashari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Right. Translation again, English translation. When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraja and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathurā in fear. All these bewildering incidents give me distress. Hare Krishna. So, this is an important text here that shows who Krishna is, and it gives better understanding of Krishna. There's, for Srila Prabhupada's explanation, factual, like contradiction, that's the word, contradiction on the part of the people who are non-devotees. And that's why Uddhava is describing that there are incidents that give him distress because he knows who Krishna really is. He knows Krishna's power. He knows Krishna very, very closely because he's a close associate of Krishna. When Krishna comes to the material world, he's in the material world. Uddhava comes to the material world. When he goes back in the spiritual world, to the spiritual world, Uddhava is there. Unless Krishna asks him to stay somewhere else for a particular reason, like he did when he left for the spiritual world and asked Uddhava to stay for a little while. And there was a particular thing that he was supposed to do. That's just service to Krishna. But Uddhava's own understanding of Krishna made him feel a little bewildered based on the different pastimes and how Krishna went about it. And that is the discussion for today. When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he's unborn. Okay, so Uddhava is saying that Krishna was born because he was born to Vasudeva and Devaki. So please don't be confused about the word prison house of Vasudeva. Actually, the owner of the prison house, at least the person who took it over, shouldn't say the owner, who took it over as Kṛṣṇa. But it was Vasudeva and Devaki who were in prison at the time. And that's why Uddhava put it like prison house of Vasudeva. Not like the prison house in terms of Vasudeva owning the prison house. And it can be a little bit misleading the way the wording is put here. But we got to have that understanding, that it's not that Vasudeva owns the prison house. So prison house of Vasudeva, but actually Kṛṣṇa had imprisoned him and his wife at the time. And Krishna was born there as the eighth child. And he was born in a prison house. Just imagine the first bewilderment of Uddhava. The Lord that he knows to be the supreme controller is born in jail. He is born in jail. He's not even born in a place where like everything is going on normally. He's born in jail. So that is bewildering to Uddhava. It really should be bewildering to everybody. But it's part of Krishna's pastimes. So that was one point that Uddhava was making. And another point, well, first, he was born in the prison house, but he's unborn. He's unborn. He's the source of everything. As Lord Brahma explains, Ishvara Parama Krishna, yad-ananta-vīryaḥ, he is the supreme controller. His body is full of knowledge, eternality, and bliss. Now, yad-ananta-vīryaḥ, Anadi Adi Govinda. He is the original. And he's the original for everyone. He's the source for everyone. But Anadi, he is not a source through someone else. No, he's original. Therefore, there's no source that describes him. Lord Brahma, who is supposed to know he's the most intelligent, is speaking like that in this Brahma Samhita. So he's unborn, but still, he was born to Vasudeva and Devaki. He went away from his father's protection. In other words, Vasudeva playing the role of a father. He left the jail and went to Gokul to live incognito. So much so that even the naming ceremony of Krishna and Balaram, the two of them, the two lords, took place quietly. In Gokul, quietly. There were only 5 persons that were there, or personalities. Krishna, Balaram, Garga Muni, who was the one that was the priest that was going to give the names, Yashoda, and Nanda Maharaj. 5. That's it. So Krishna, Balaram, Yashoda, and Nanda Maharaj, that's 4 in the family. And then the priest, Garga Muni. So many millions of people lived in the Gokul area. He didn't know anything about it. And he also lived incognito because he allowed Yogamaya to bewilder everybody, to make them think that he was just a wonderful, adorable child, and not that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through whom everything came into existence. He fled from Mathurā. Well, that was a situation involving Jarasan attacking Mathurā. And many, many, many times he attacked Mathurā. His soldiers were defeated, but he would just gather another army and come back. And it got to the point where, rather than finishing him off, Krishna chose to ask the residents of Mathurā to move to Dwarka. So it's almost like you're a Kshatriya and somebody's attacking you And rather than defeat the person, you decide to go somewhere else that makes it difficult for that person to attack you. So it's a retreat. He retreated in that sense from a material standpoint. And so Buddha is looking at Krishna, the Krishna that he knows, and comparing it to all these things that's happened that seems to be that Krishna is at least in the case of the Mathurā situation, that he's weaker. In the situation of Goku living incognito, that he's fearful. And Uddhava knows that Krishna is unborn, but he's now born. So all of these, it's bewildering incidents. He doesn't understand, so it's giving him distress, is how Uddhava is describing it. But in the purport, Srila Prabhupada then puts things in perspective, because he doesn't want us to be bewildered also, or come to the wrong conclusion about who Krishna is. Krishna is the original person from whom everything has emanated. Aham sarvasya prabhava. So he said it. That is in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 and text number 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam Buddha bhava samam vita. He says, Krishna himself is speaking to Arjuna, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. The wise who know this, they give full attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They worship the Lord with all their hearts. So he's saying he is the source of all material and spiritual worlds. So if he's the source of everything, including the jail that Cancer thought that he owned, so now why, if he's that powerful, would he come to the world like that? That was what was bewildering to Uddhava. And in many ways, if we look at it from a material standpoint, it also sounds bewildering. It doesn't add up. This is the most supreme, the supermost person in everything. And he's the source where everything has come about, and he's born that way. In fact, he's unborn, but he's now born. Krishna is saying, factually, he is the source of all spiritual and material worlds. So it seems that there's a clash here in terms of some things not adding up. But then Srila Prabhupada puts it in proper perspective. He says, Lord Kṛṣṇa is the original person that everything has come from. No one is equal or greater than him. That's called asamudva in Sanskrit. No one is equal to Krishna or greater than Krishna. He is supremely perfect. And when he plays that part, he enacts his transcendental pastimes as a son, like the way he was born, a rival, the way he was to Jarasan, an object of enmity, again, to Jarasan and other demons. He plays the part so perfectly that even pure devotees like Uddhava can become bewildered. Now, depending on the demon, sometimes he killed them outright, or sometimes he killed them in a very short period of time, like the case of Dantavaka. He got rid of him very quickly. Or he can make it go on quite a while before he begins to act. So everything is based on his will and how he wants his pastimes to unfold. And that's what we have to understand. So Uddhava, and for that matter, any pure devotee that knows Krishna well, would be a little bit bewildered. Why is Krishna acting this way? So Srila Prabhupada says, Uddhava knew well, perfectly well, that Krishna is eternally existent. He can neither die nor disappear for good, which means he can't be born. People who get born, they're the ones that die. Yet he lamented for Krishna. because a pastime can affect them with Yogamaya does things. So the devotees can be affected by the pastimes that Krishna is allowing to unfold in a particular way. So then Srila Prabhupada gives the analogy here that when a father is playing with his little son and the father lies down on the floor as if defeated by the son, is it because the son has actually defeated the father? No. It is just in fun to give the little son pleasure and nothing more. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. The Krishna's pastimes are done that way just for fun. Just for fun. The Lord is all-powerful. And because the Lord is powerful, it is actually possible for him to play both sides, in a manner of speaking. Act like he's being born, but he's not born. Act like he's dying, but he's not dying. Act like he's defeated, but he really can't be defeated. But it's all in order to just enjoy his pastimes. So a pure devotee knows very well how it is possible for the Lord to adjust opposite things, to play both sides, depending on how he wants the pastime to unfold. But still, because of a love that the pure devotees have, sometimes they can become bewildered like Uddhava was. But then there's also another factor to this, and that is the non-devotees. They don't understand the supreme glories of the Lord. Therefore, when he does these things, pastimes, they kind of look at him as, well, he's one of us. After all, he 2 hands, 2 legs, another human being. Yeah, he's pretty. He's very, very handsome, but that's not the end of the world to be handsome like that. They think, non-devotees think that way. So then their idea of him is all imaginary because the real him has been described by Lord Brahma, Ishvara Parama Krishna. And his body is Satchidananda, full of knowledge. It is eternal, and he's always enjoying himself. So even the pastimes that he's having, he has allowed it to unfold in a certain way so he can enjoy himself with his devotees. So really, there's nothing contradictory. He remains the topmost. So everything is possible when we understand the Lord, as the most powerful, and he can make things happen the way he'd like to. So the Lord is so powerful, he can make himself very small. He can make himself very big. As the super soul, he's in every atom, very small. But as Mahavishnu, the very universes come out of his pores. The universes of the material world come out of his pores. You can imagine what size he is like. And that's an incarnation of Krishna. So he can be huge. That boggles our mind in terms of understanding. And at the same time, he can be little. And that's the Lord. So that's what makes him very, very, very intriguing. Very, 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 very wonderful personality. And if he's like that, he can make things happen, even the opposites happen. Lord Chaitanya, speaking about that, Lord Chaitanya, when he came, he can bewilder scholars by having a debate with them. And he will defeat them in the debate. And even the statement that he made to defeat them in the debate, he can turn the same statement around to negate it and have an argument for the negation part, and still he can make people bewildered with how intelligent he is. That is the Supreme Lord. That's the Supreme Lord. So if he's telling us directly he is the source of all spiritual and material worlds and everything emanates from him, we would be wise to stick with him and serve him in devotional service. and worship him, just like all of these pure devotees, they do. So, Lord Chaitanya has given us, Lord Chaitanya has no authority in the Shastras. He's given us how to apply these teachings and to understand that Krishna is the origin of both material and spiritual worlds. And that's why Lord Chaitanya says, let us serve Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That type of understanding makes us firmly fixed in devotional service of the Supreme Lord. One who understands it this way, that the Lord is a superior being. Nobody comes at this level, but he is so superior, he can, just for humor, just for play, adopt positions like he is inferior to something, or he's fearful of something. And he's not, but it's just for fun. He does that. So a devotee who understands the Krishnas like that cannot be deviated by any amount of or any number of nonsensical commentaries by fools who just take things on face value and then kind of put Krishna down, minimize Krishna because of their way of looking at things. Also, we need to understand something which is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9. Krishna's appearance and activities are all transcendental. That is for us to know. That is for us to always tell our minds that that is the way it is. Janma kama chame divyam evam yoviti tatvata tyakta viham puna janma naiti mamiti so arjuna. Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, which is Transcendental Knowledge. That's the title of it. And text 9. The translation is that one who knows the transcendental nature of my... Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance. Interesting, he says appearance, not birth. He appears like the way the sun appears. The sun is not burnt out at any point, but it appears in ways. Sometimes it's not there, and then everything looks dark. Sometimes it's there, and at different times, specific times, then there's light. So that is the appearance of the Lord, or as an analogy. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and my activities. And the activity is very important. The transcendental nature of his appearance is that he was appearing through his pure devotee, Vasudeva, and his pure devotee, Devaki. Through him, and even the way he appeared, he didn't appear the way we get born. No. He appeared first in the mind of Vasudeva. Then, as Radha Swami explains it, he went to the mind of Devaki, and then to the belly of Devaki, and then he appeared. Devaki did not go through labor. He did not. She did not go through labor. The Lord appeared. And when he appeared in his four-handed form. And all of this, the paraphernalia that he holds in his four-handed form were with him. So, Sankachakra, Gada Padma, the stick, the conch shell, the lotus flower, all of that. The club, he was holding it. It was Devaki, knowing that that was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that begged him to change himself into like a regular baby, which he did. So that's the Lord. And that was his appearance. And his activities are very, 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 very wonderful. Some of it we know is superhuman, so it's not difficult for us to accept the superhuman ones, but the other ones that seem like normal thing among what we do, this is what throws especially non-believers off, and they make people think that he's like us. And especially if he's doing different things that we don't accept as laws here or moral things here, then people even begin to criticize Krishna, which could be the worst thing that anyone can do for his life. Devotional or not devotional. Oh, Krishna has so many women. And they married, and in the middle of a night, They sneak out in their house and they go and have a good time with him. Therefore, Krishna is immoral. His activities are all transcendental, not immoral. They're transcendental. Aham sarvasya prabhava. I am the owner, the source of all that's material and transcendental. So material and spiritual. Everything. So the one who is the source of spiritual as well as material, everything that exists. If he's having a great time with the gopis in the middle of a night, who owns the gopis? Isn't it Krishna? If he's the source of everything? Who owns the husbands of the gopis? Isn't that the same Krishna? So the owner is using what he wants to use whenever he wants to use. Who are we to question him? So non-devotees are lost. Because they're trying to compare what a normal person a person in the, I wouldn't say no, a person in the material world bound by laws and morality looks at things. They look at things that way and they think that Krishna should be at that level as them. No. Krishna's activities and his appearance, they're all transcendental. So even one time we're reading the pastimes of the Lord, and it looks like some of the things that we do, we should still be telling our minds, it may seem like something that we're used to, because this material world is a perverted reflection, but it is a reflection. Therefore, some things that happen at the transcendental level may seem to be similar to some things in the material level. They may seem to be similar, but just like a counterfeit coin and a real coin appear similar, counterfeit coin and a real coin appear similar, the ingredients that make up the real coin are different from the ingredients that make up the counterfeit coin, even though the structure of it looks the same. So that's Krishna. Everything that he does is transcendental. But sometimes, just like the counterfeit coin appears to look like the real coin, we may think, looking at the counterfeit coin, and we may looking at the real coin and say, oh, looks like a coin that I know of. But we live with counterfeit things. We live as a perverted reflection of the reality. So we need to understand that. So when we hear in the pastimes, then it's not at the level that we should look at from a material standpoint. Never. We shouldn't look at it that way. In that way, then we won't get confused. So a few pastimes that may be bewildering. Jarasandha fighting Krishna, as we talked about it earlier. So because conditioned souls tend to compare Krishna's activities to their way of looking at things, and their way of looking at things is severely limited. So that should be at the back of our minds when we talk about these things, the pastime. Jarasandha is a king, he's a Kshatriya, he's a demon, and he wants to defeat Krishna. Krishna has killed Kansa. Kansa was married to Jarasandha's daughters. So then Jarasandha gets upset with Krishna because Krishna has killed Jarasandha's son-in-law. So then Jarasandha attacks Krishna. This is what the underlying, the backstory, as people like to put it. Now, Krishna really was thinking about the next pastime, how he was going to unfold it. So he took advantage of this situation and told the Mathurā residents, let's go to Dwarka. At first, the Kshatriyas in Mathurā did not want to go. Jarasandha has been fighting us. We've defeated him 17, 18 times. We defeated him. Because if we retreat now, if we're saying we retreat to Dwarka, it would be looked at like we are just wimps. As you say in America, that we're weak. So they didn't want to go. But in the end, and Krishna doesn't force anyone, he had them think through what they were speaking about. And then when he called Vishwakarma, the heavenly architect, and he came and showed the plan, the model of the way Dwarka looked like, then they all said, yeah, it looks very It looks very nice. And I think Krishna, and Balaram also tried to convince them that I think we should go. So then again, next thing that happened was the day that they moved to Dwarka, they woke up and they were in Dwarka. Nobody can do that. See, Krishna does pastimes. And on one hand, it's almost like Jarasandha is giving him a hard time. But then when they moved to Dwarka, the move was you go to sleep the day before, you wake up the next day, and all your belongings are in a particular place in a new place. Now Krishna shows his power. He do, and does that easily. But at the same Krishna, before they moved, Kalayavana, who's also a demon, joined Jarasandha, who's also a demon, and they were trying to attack him at Mathurā. What did Krishna do? One time he came out of Mathurā, through the gates of Mathurā, and Kalayavana was there. And Krishna came, he wasn't armed, and he started walking away. Kalyavana followed him. Oh, he's an easy time now. I can get him. Demons think that way. They think they're in control. So he tried to follow Krishna, and Krishna, so definitely Kalyavana was going where Krishna was going because Krishna was leading, and therefore Kalyavana was trying to catch up with him. But Krishna was going a particular direction. He didn't realize, Kalyavana realized that he was actually walking to his death. But he was trying to catch Krishna. He was pretty close. Krishna wasn't walking fast. But every time he tries to reach to grab Krishna, he couldn't catch up with him. He could not hold Krishna. Krishna was right in front of him, moving, walking slowly. Kalyavana is behind Krishna, but he still couldn't touch Krishna. So within the things that are happening in his pastimes, he also shows his supreme abilities and supreme energies. Just like how the Dwarka residents, the Mathurā residents just found themselves moved to Dwarka just overnight without anybody lifting a finger to do anything. And Kalayavana trying to catch Krishna. Krishna is right in front of him, but he can't catch him. Finally, he followed Krishna to a cave, and Muchukunda was lying in that cave. And Muchukunda was a king that had the boon from demigods that if anybody disturbs his sleep, that he can burn that person to ashes. So Krishna just led him to that cave. And the cave was dark. And Kalyavana saw someone lying there. And he thought that was Krishna because Krishna got into the cave first. But Krishna just moved himself to one side that Kalyavana could not see him. So Kalyavana thought that Krishna was the one lying down and kicked Krishna very hard and woke up Muchukunda, who had the boon that he can kill anybody who disturbs his sleep. So Muchukunda woke up, upset with Kalyavana, and therefore Kalyavana lost his life. He got burned to ashes. That's one pastime. But look at the part of it that seemed like, oh, Krishna can easily be defeated. He wasn't. He mock fights, do mock fighting with the cowherd boys. Practically every time that they go to care for the cows and they come back, they do this kind of fighting. Nobody can defeat Krishna. But then sometimes the cowherd boys feel like they are winning. Kaliya, the snake, when Krishna jumped and to the place where Kaliya was at that time in the river, and Kaliya came out and wrapped his whole body, the coils, around Krishna 2 hours. Those who were from Vrindavan or Mathurā, they came, not Mathurā, Gokul, Mother Yashoda, the cowherd boys, but they were all within Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. Mother Yashoda fainted when he saw this. And Kaliya is big. So Krishna was young at that time. And Radhanath Swami describes the whole scene of how Kaliya had coiled his, big coiled his body around Krishna. And the whole thing is like a typical skyscraper. This is Kaliya's size. The whole coils up and up and up and up and up like that. Like a typical, skyscraper in one of the cities in America. That's how far up Krishna was. Mm. And in the end, what happened? Krishna freed himself and started dancing on the heads of Kaliya and almost killed him. But his dancing looked so graceful. And at the same time, the tapping of his foot on Kaliya's head were huge blows, but you couldn't see it from outside that they were blows. We could just see that Kaliya was vomiting blood, and Kaliya, the snake, he had so many heads. So Krishna was jumping from one head to another. Kaliya was trying to bite him, and the whole, every time he tries to, he fails because Krishna just goes to the next head like that. And in the meantime, the entire thing is very, very, very much coordinated and like choreographed nicely. And the demigods came to supply music, and Krishna is killing, jumping on this head of the snake, and the snake is actually dying. He almost got killed. This is Kaliya. His wives later on came and begged Krishna for pardon because Kaliya had realized that he's not at Krishna's level at all. He cannot harm Krishna. So that is Krishna. So people who don't understand Krishna, Krishna calls them mudha, fools. So in Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, text 11, avajananti mudha manusimtam ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheswaram. Mama bhuta maheswaram. It means I am the supreme proprietor of everything that be. So avajananti mudha, fools mock at me, deride me, that is mocking, it's mess with me in American language. When I descend in the human form, it's just like one of us. They don't know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. So Krishna may appear like a human being, but he's not a common man. He's not. He is the personality of Godhead who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of everything. The complete cosmic manifestation. A person who can do that cannot be a regular human being. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man. Yeah, he's done this pastime, nothing more. He is the Supreme Lord, Ishvara Parama Krishna. And that we need to understand. That way, the wise who understand that give their hearts to Krishna, and those who give their hearts to Krishna, especially from the material world, are going back to the spiritual world. By the mercy of the Lord and the mercy of Guru, you'll get a chance to go back. And this is what our life is about. This is why we are detached from so many things. But as far as detachment, Lord Jesus even talked about that. Love not this world nor the things of this world. That is detachment. Love not this world nor the things of the world. So we call it detachment. Detach from the material and understand Krishna does these pastimes in order to make us see him as a very, very, very wonderful person to be around, powerful person to be around, loving person to be around. He's the ultimate in all of these. So he says, come to me, and we should obey that and go to him. And whatever he asks us to do, like go to Guru, he's my representative. Ask Guru. Krishna has to be worshipped. He says in 1865 of Bhagavad Gita, think about him, remember him, worship him, offer obeisances to him. But he says go to Guru and inquire from him. So we shouldn't be putting our little petty things that we want in front of Krishna. We should ask from Guru. And if it's more material, we should ask senior devotees who are in the temple. Like that. But more importantly, we shouldn't ask You can ask for material things, but we shouldn't really ask for material things. The next level up is to understand that when we begin to serve doing the spiritual thing, then our material problems will be cared for. Krishna is the most supreme. There's nothing Krishna can't do. So if we give our hearts to Krishna, then everything material that we need, he will also supply it and do it. All our needs will be covered in a way that we couldn't have figured out ourselves, because we don't compare anywhere to Krishna's intelligence. And therefore, how he does things, we couldn't figure it out. We can't figure it out to save our lives. We can't. And that is the Lord. Hmm? So, one, to conclude, all his activities are transcendental. When Krishna does things that he appears to be fearful, running away from Mother Yashoda, for example, Mother Yashoda is chasing him with a stick and so on, and he's very fearful and he's shaking and all of that, and he's crying. This is just part of his humor. He wants to do that just for fun. That, oh, my mother is so strict with me. My mother loves me, but then when I do something wrong, it's like, this is all play. It's play, that's all. And he wants to do like that. But we shouldn't think of Krishna as just an imaginary person. Oh, he's just only powerful, that's all. No. All his activities are transcendental. And with that understanding, then Krishna can do both sides, can play both sides. We can't. It's one or the other, but he can play both sides. Meaning in every situation, he can play one side of it and he can play the other side of it too. And that's just for fun. And if we join him, everything in our lives will be set properly. And even what we call reversals, or things that happen that seem to be difficult on us, will be a way to learn something new in order to improve our devotional lives and our lives in general. So we are fortunate to have Srila Prabhupada guiding us. Krishna actually guided Srila Prabhupada. He said it. Srila Prabhupada said Krishna guided him and instructed him on the purports that he's been writing. So the purports are actually from, just like Lord Chaitanya instructed the Goswamis to write. He said, Prabhupada said that Krishna actually told him what to write for the purports. So we're fortunate, just follow it and do what we have to do and understand Krishna's activities are all transcendental, and we'll be just fine. Shri Pariksit. So thank you, dear devotees, for coming on. And this is the time that we unmute ourselves. If we have any comments, then we do that. Questions, then we ask, and so on. So are there any questions or are there any comments? Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, then we'll thank you for coming. Listen, this thing is very good. It's good for us, all of us, including me, because I also speak only by the strength of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. So thank you, everybody. I've seen the electronic thank you from some of you. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhya kripa sindhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a wonderful, wonderful